When I moved into my college dorm, I was told I'd have a roommate named Sarah. She wasn't there when I arrived, but her side of the room was fully set up. Books neatly arranged on the desk, a couple of picture frames, and a bed made so perfectly it looked like it belonged in a catalogue. There was even a water bottle sitting on the desk, half full. I thought it was strange she hadn't shown up yet, but I didn't dwell on it. Maybe she'd arrive later. Days passed, then a week, and Sarah never came. Her side of the room stayed exactly the same, like a snapshot frozen in time. At first, I thought she must have dropped out or moved to another dorm and just hadn't collected her things. I started joking with my friends about my phantom roommate. But then, strange things started happening. One night, as I was lying in bed scrolling through my phone, I heard a faint rustling sound. It came from Sarah's desk. My stomach tightened as I sat up and turned on my bedside lamp. I half expected to see a mouse or maybe some papers fluttering from the air conditioning, but everything on her desk was still. The next night it got worse. I woke up to the sound of a chair scraping across the floor. My heart pounded in my chest as I sat up and looked toward her desk. The chair, Sarah's chair, was pulled out, as if someone had been sitting there. I knew I hadn't left it that way. I got up and checked the lock on the door. It was still bolted from the inside. I even peeked into the hallway. Empty. I told myself I must have pulled it out earlier and forgotten, but deep down I knew that wasn't true. The following night, I woke up again. This time it wasn't a sound that disturbed me, it was the feeling of being watched. Slowly, I turned my head towards Sarah's side of the room. In the dim glow of the streetlight outside, I could see a figure sitting at the desk. It was a woman, her head bowed as though she was studying something on the surface. My breath caught in my throat. "Sarah," I whispered. She didn't move. I reached for my phone, my hand trembling as I turned on the flashlight. The beam of light hit the chair, and nothing. The figure was gone, but the chair was still pulled out, and this time, the water bottle on the desk was tipped over, its contents dripping onto the floor. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning I went to the housing office. I needed to know what was going on. I told them everything. How I'd been assigned a roommate who never showed up but whose things were still in the room. The woman behind the desk frowned and started typing on her computer. After a moment she looked up at me, her face pale. "Housing office woman, there's been a mistake. That room hasn't had a second occupant in years. The last person assigned to it was Sarah, but she died in her room. Suicide." I felt the blood drain from my face. When I returned to the dorm later that day, Sarah's side of the room was empty. Her belongings, everything, were gone. All that was left was the faint outline of her chair on the floor, the only sign she had ever been there at all. And I knew deep down she never left.